Hello, everyone. I am. You'll notice I got my camera working again, so that's good. That was a good thing. It's been a long day. I'm doing this later in the evening, so bear with me. I'm having a drink while I'm doing it, so I don't think that'll bother anybody. If it does, that's too bad because I'm going to do it anyway. What's been going on this week? It's Monday, quite a weekend. I did see something that I thought was pretty funny, and I had to just share it with you because it it kind of confirms what I've been saying all along. Now, I've been saying this for a long time. I'm not a Elon Musk fan. Okay. Now, having said that, everything that he's doing with the Doge Department of Government Efficiency, I am 100% behind. Don't get me wrong. I'm 100% behind. Now, having said that, I saw something the other day. He was talking, I think, over the weekend about possibly he's he dreams this stuff up. He's talking about building a tunnel under the Atlantic Ocean and having the Hyperloop run through it. With which, if you're not familiar with what the Hyperloop is, it's a it's something he dreamt up. Well, he says he dreamt it up. It's actually a product of an invention that was early 20th century, and he just stole it basically and changed the name. I mean, that's basically all he did. And it is a train that's supposed to run in a vacuum tube, and you're supposed to be able to reach high speeds doing that. You probably have heard of it. If you haven't, you look it up. It was something he tried to do. It never worked. It can't work. And he's saying he can do it for $32 billion across the Atlantic. That's ridiculous. Okay. This guy again, I want to make sure we're clear on this. Everything he's doing with Doge, I'm 100% behind. A broken clock is right twice a day. Tesla stock is falling. I think it's 70% worth 70% less than it was a year ago. So he's got some issues. Now he's going to go back to work, working for himself, and that's fine. And believe me, I'm not taking anything away from him. He was working for free. So you really can't fault him for that. And he's doing a great job. But come on. The running a tunnel under the Atlantic Ocean, please. He says, well, you can get to Europe in under 3 hours. Yeah, I guess that's true. But 32 billion, you know how much it cost to build the tunnel under the English Channel? It was like 134 billion, and that's only 60 miles. So Elon's got a habit of trying to undercut everyone in a financial sense. He wants it to sound like he can do it cheaper, faster, and better. Well, that's not true. I had ambitions like that too at one point in my life. I had dreams. I mean, I'd put it on paper, I'd draw it out. Now, but then I turned 12 and that all went away. So I know he's the richest man on the planet. That's all based on stock. I mean, I don't want to get into my thoughts on Elon Musk, okay? Trump called him basically he's a bullshitter, which I firmly believe that that's accurate. But having said saying something like that, knowing full well that that can't be done, it hurts your credibility. Why would you do that? Why would Elon Musk think it was a good idea to say that he could do something like that? It's ridiculous. So, moving on, we really need to talk about this immigration issue right now. And and here's the thing. Let me put this up here on screen. Uh, there we go. The Democratic Party. I saw today that Schumer, they're trying to force Schumer into saying that he will reintroduce impeachment. He'll make that a priority in 2026 if the Democrats win back the House. He was very hesitant to say anything about that because he said that's a long time away. It's a long time off, and I agree with that. And My question is this. I mean, how high of approval rating do you want him to have? How high of an approval rating do you want Donald Trump to have? Right now, it's about 60%. You want it to be 90? Because if you do that, you didn't learn anything by the last two impeachments. Every time you impeach this guy, his approval rating went up. So I think that's stupid because here, look at this. Look at this. This is a CBS poll. Now, this is based on America's approval of Trump's program to seek out and deport illegals. And that's a CBS, by the way. This is nobody that likes Trump. So you can imagine that 56% is probably more like 66%. A supermajority of people agree with Trump's program to deport illegal immigrants in the U.S. I'm not talking about legal immigrants. I'm not talking about grabbing somebody off the street that's brown or someone who's here on a visa. They're not talking about that. They're talking about people who came across illegally and have either overstayed their visa or their student visa, whatever. A lot of people have done that. They're catching a lot of them. They're catching a lot of people who have overstayed. They're welcome. Overstayed, they're welcome. I think it's ridiculous that you're doing that. And yes, and don't give me that crap. I've got a kid. I've worked here for 20 years. I've I've established myself. I've built a life. I don't care. I don't care. Then you should have taken care of the paperwork. And I think I speak for the vast majority of people in the United States, at least 56%, right? At least 56%. Look at what males, it's 63%. So I think he's on the right track. I think people hate the Democrats now because of this. This was the number one issue in the election, in my opinion. The economy came in second. Illegal immigration was the number one issue in the 2024 election. And Donald Trump said he was going to do exactly what he's doing today. You cannot ask for more than that. When is the last time you think about it? Other than Trump, when is the last time a politician looked you in the eye, told them they were going to do something, and actually did it? Doesn't happen very often. I, for one, cannot think of one right off the top of my head. Most of them cave. Most of them want to walk that fine line on the fence and try to appease everyone. Not Trump. He's done. And this tells you right here, 56% in a poll of an organization that absolutely hates Trump. And they have no choice. They have to show this. They have to. Now, look at this. Democrats' latest immigration propaganda stunt just blew up in their faces. Yes, this Garcia guy, why would you go down this road? Why would you go down this road if you're a Democrat? Who told them this was a good idea? This is the worst idea you could imagine having. Someone should at the table when they were having their little powwow, when people were throwing out ideas. When you said, "Hey, I want to go to bat. I want to make this guy a hero. He's an MS-13 gang member. He's here illegally. He's been thrown out twice. He beats his wife up. I mean, come on. Who thought this was a good idea? Is there an end game for this? Is there some kind of a switcheroo that we're not seeing, that I'm not seeing? Is this a 3D chess move that I'm not aware of? Because I don't see it. I don't see it. People are sick of this. They're sick of immigrants getting benefits, getting free educations. And by the way, when the student loan collections start up in May 5th, it's going to make it even look worse, because Americans are going to be forced to pay back their student loans. They're going to come after them. I've already seen tons of videos of people just absolutely irate about the government taking their income tax return, because they haven't paid back their student loans. And now they're going to start garnishing wages. So then this person who has their wages garnished, trying to make a living, here's a story about a illegal immigrant being given a free education, or somebody in prison getting a free education. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. And it's going to that's going to make more people come over to the Republican side on the issue of immigration. It is. There's nothing you can do about it. You have hitched your horse to the wrong. It makes no sense. And for the life of me, I can't figure it out. I wish I could. I wish I could tell you there's a strategy behind this whole thing. I don't know what it is. I'm mystified. I don't know what these people are doing. And having said that, listen to this. I'm going to play this. This could possibly be the best explanation of this whole issue that I've ever heard. Jesse Waters on the 5 at 5 explained this. And I mean, he takes this gal to the woodshed. Okay, this shoot, I can't remember her name. She's the only Democrat on there, and she's a liberal, crying. You know, it's a real pain in the ass. But anyway, listen to this. I'm gonna play this.
Toddler, and I know what it's like when their face is covered in chocolate, and they say, "I didn't eat the cookies. I didn't eat the cookies, Mama." But that's what's going on here. They need to slow down and follow the process. We're not against deporting people. Just get it right.
You want everybody. You brought them all in, and now you want to do it one by one. There was a lot of mind reading in there. Nobody's freaking out about this except the Democrats.
That's not true.
In the last decade, we deported about 350,000 people a year. So if, Jesse, at that rate, it would take 28 years just to get the illegal immigrants that Biden let in.
Well, Jessica keeps on saying there's all these mistakes. First, she said this guy was picked up because he had a Bulls hat. And then he has tattoos on his hand that spell MS-13.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. Read the symbol.
Did you hear her? That's not true. Jessica, that's what her name is. She is pain in the ass. And I know why they have her on there, because it makes for great TV. It does. But she's defending an undefensible program. She really is. She's wanting you to give each and every one of these people who are here illegally, are not American citizens, due process. Due process. Why would you do that? They have no due process. They're not entitled to due process. They're not Americans. So listen to this.
Symbolism, Jessica. What are you, a gang detective? Cut it out.
And
then he's wearing paraphernalia that says the slogan for MS-13. And then he gets caught up in a gang sweep with ranking members of MS-13 as part of a murder investigation. Then gets pulled over and he's suspected of human trafficking. Then gets accused of slugging his wife twice, and she has it on video. And suddenly his name isn't Maryland Dad, it's due process. Mm-hmm. You transitioned pretty quickly, Jessica. And to say this administration never admits a mistake, you guys never admitted you opened the border for 4 years.
Yes, we did.
Come on. You're saying this guy
the border was
you're saying this guy's afraid to go home? Because that's funny. In 2019, when he was popped, he said he wasn't afraid to go home, Jessica. Yeah. Funny that you're into due process now, after bringing us the Me Too movement, cancel culture, and the Trump trials. You can't break into the country and ignore the process of coming here and then want a process to leave. You cannot cut the line to come here and then ask to be put in a line to go home. If you guys are going to be the defense attorneys for every criminal gangbanger in America, after you've allowed the gangs to invade and now say all of them need lawyers, it's going to be an eternity, Jessica, to get these people out of here.
And here's the thing. That's the whole process. That's the whole strategy. They want to slow this down completely to a standstill. They want to bankrupt the judicial system with not only with this, but with the judges ruling against Trump and putting stops on his actions. That's what they're wanting to do. They're wanting to slow it down and try to do their best to make it to 2028 because they think somehow or other, I guess Gavin Newsom's going to be their savior, the best I can tell. Either that or AOC and Bernie Sanders, which is not going to happen. That's not going to happen. It's 2028. I mean, have you seen the new hat that Trump's put out? Trump 2028. What a troll. Oh my God. That guy's so good. The left went batshit over that. I mean, you hear the 22nd Amendment left and right. He can't do that. It's against the Constitution. And he says, I can. And there's a way around it. And they just go absolutely crazy. And what's funny is it didn't even say Donald Trump. It said Trump. Is he talking about Trump Jr.? Is he talking about Laura Trump? Is he talking about Eric? How about Ivanka? There's plenty of Trumps to go around. The thing is, Donald Trump has changed the landscape of American politics. He's absolutely wiped the chalkboard completely clean. And we're starting over. And now everybody wants to act like him. And you can't do it. He's a one of a kind. He's going to be in the background running the show in 2028 if he doesn't run. I'm not saying he won't. I'm not saying he won't run. You know, the thing is, with Donald Trump, it would surprise me to see him run knowing he can't win. Because they would just go apeshit. Just because you're running doesn't mean you're going to win. The Constitution says you cannot be president twice. Now he's going to argue it doesn't say consecutive. You know, it's the wording that they're going to be interested in, and we'll see what happens on this. But right now, back to the immigration thing. I'm going to play the rest of this because it's just brilliant. Jesse takes this gal down, and he explains this thing at a level that I tell you, it's outstanding. It really is.
Johnny went to Baltimore, and the people of Maryland are laughing at you. Blacks, Hispanics, whites.
That's absolutely
They think
accurate.
it's ridiculous what Van Hollen has done
Van
to be able to
Hollen,
defend.
Van Hollen went to El Salvador to talk with this Garcia. How they got him out of that prison, I don't know. Where he got his jeans and his shirt, I don't know. I guess maybe that's the stuff he went down there in. And they're sitting at a table having margaritas. You're basically telling me that you want MS-13 in the United States. This is a senator. This is a senator. And you know, at the end of the day, what this was, they talk about January 6th being an insurrection. We've heard that, for 4 years now? At least, going on 5. The insurrection of 2021, January 6th. They said that was an attempted coup, an attempted takeover. I don't know how you're going to take over the federal government with no guns, but okay, that's beside the point. The way I look at it now, allowing immigrants to come in, illegal immigrants, come across the border, knowing full well that they were doing that, encouraging that they do that, inviting them in, that's a coup. What's going on is it's a revolution by immigration. That's what it is. That's what it is. It is an invasion. We're being invaded by the entire world. And as far as I'm concerned, everyone who was involved in this could be up on charges of treason. You want to talk about January 6th? I mean, this doesn't compare. That's nothing compared to this. We are going to be a decade getting rid of these people. That's if we start today. So yeah, I'm a little angry. I think all America is angry. These people need to go. And I don't want to hear the stories. I don't want to hear the stories about the kids being here and the parents are going to have to go and what are they going to do? I don't care. I know that sounds like a cold heart, but I'm sick of this. I'm sick of the stories. Are there exceptions? Maybe. I don't know. But the left will have you believe that just because you're here and you've been here for years, maybe you're a legal immigrant, you've been here for 20 years, you're a U.S. citizen. They're trying to convince you that they're going to pull you off the street and send you to a camp of some kind. That's nonsense. That's not what they're going to do. They get their hands full now, trying to get the guys that are breaking the law. That's who they want to send back. They're having enough trouble rounding them up. And then you got an entire court system, to the entire Department of Justice fighting you every step of the way. All these federal judges stepping in. The Supreme Court has to get this straightened out. Otherwise, we're never going to get anywhere. There is right now a constitutional crisis, in my opinion. No judge from Timbuktu, Utah, or teen-necked Oregon should be able to step in and stop the president of the United States from doing anything. Oops. So that's what I'm saying. Let me play the rest of this. This is really good.
And foreign rights instead of the rights of the American people. And the slippery slope.
He's sitting there with margaritas, and don't let him kid you. That's a frickin' margarita, the one with the cherry on it. That's what that is. And that gray-headed idiot over there, that Holtman or whatever, he's an idiot. He's an idiot going up there trying to get this guy back. He's a senator of Maryland, and he ought to be thrown out of that office today. He ought to be impeached today for even setting this whole thing up at taxpayers' expense. How dare you do that? How dare? Oh, look.
Argument. Is this the slipperiest slope you've ever seen? If they deport an MS-13 terrorist, you're next. Who? The Puerto Ricans? Yeah. Anybody with a
That's
tan,
what they're trying to make you believe.
Are you next? Mm-hmm. No one believes that. This is the dictator hoax all over again, and you lost on that the last time.
So there's this illegal immigrant. He was living in Maryland, designated MS-13 terrorist, and Donald Trump deported him. Mm-hmm. How does that make you feel?
I feel safer.
He gotta go.
These are all blacks they're asking in Maryland. I mean, it just cracks me up. Listen to this.
He gotta go.
Need to go. I mean, that's it.
But he was a father.
But he's still a terrorist.
Okay.
But he was a father, and he's setting these people up. He's saying that, and I understand why he's doing that. What does being a father have to do with breaking the law? There are a lot of people sitting in jail right now that have children. If that was an excuse to get out of prison, most of them would be out. What, you have to be single with no children and no family, no wife, and then you can go to jail. But if you have any of those issues, you can go free. That makes no sense. Makes no sense.
I mean, but there's children living without fathers now.
Exactly.
He should have picked and choose, so he picked to be a terrorist instead of worrying about his children.
The Democrats, they want him back. They say he was wrongfully deported. He has a wife and a kid who's a citizen. They're calling this a national emergency. Is this a national emergency?
I wouldn't call it a national emergency. We got more things going on.
We have more things, more fish to fry.
I just found out about it, so I don't think so. What kind of
Not the sharpest pencil in the box. He just found out about it. Okay.
national emergency for what? What is an emergency for?
There ain't no national emergency, no.
He was accused of hitting his wife twice and was a suspected human smuggler. Was he wrongfully deported?
No. He need to go.
If he's a smuggler, yeah, he need to be deported.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
Your senator here, Chris Van Hollen, he flew to El Salvador where this guy was deported. He met with them, had lunch with them, had margaritas on the table.
Yeah.
What's up with your senator?
I have no idea, but I do believe that was a waste of taxpayer dollars.
Margaritas.
Look at her.
Margaritas.
You agreeing with somebody whipping their wife, terrorizing where you live, then you don't need to live here either.
Senator Van Hollen, you need to come see me, Mr. Coley, because you doing like that. You need to take care of home before you go in other states.
He went to El Salvador.
Oh, that's another country, excuse me.
What is Senator Chris Van
You gotta laugh about that. He didn't. He thought it was a different state. I'm sorry. That makes me laugh. I want to show you also what the mainstream media is saying about it. Watch this.
On illegal immigration.
Today's dramatic escalation in the Trump administration's conflict with judges.
The Trump administration signaling a major escalation in its deportation efforts.
Today, an escalation in the Trump administration's battle with the judiciary.
Tensions between local and federal authorities over President Trump's immigration crackdown escalated today.
We begin this hour with a major escalation of the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration.
We begin with what appears to be a major escalation.
Did you hear what she said? Did you hear that? Listen to this. She said something that was very interesting. Watch this.
To be a major escalation in the Trump administration.
Escalated today.
We begin this hour with a major escalation of the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration.
Crackdown on immigration. It's not what he's doing. That's a lie. That's a lie. They lie right to your face. It's not a crackdown on immigration. It's a crackdown on illegal immigration. Illegals coming across. Now, that's MSNBC, which doesn't surprise me in the least. It doesn't. Those people are scumbags. They will lie. They'll look you right in the eye. I can't imagine working there. I can't. But listen to this. It's all the same thing. But this escalation. He's gone across the line. Listen to this.
Begin with what appears to be a major escalation in the Trump administration's deportation efforts.
And what is a major escalation in the battle here in D.C. over immigration and deportation.
See, she did it too. Immigration. It's not immigration. There's no battle about immigration. We like immigration. We want the best and the brightest of the people around the world to come to our country. People who'll contribute. People who won't break the law. Yeah. But Caitlin there, she's trying to convince you that it's all immigrants. Going to crack down on it. If you're an immigrant and you're here with a green card, they're going to come along and grab you and send you to an El Salvadorian prison. That's what they're going to do. I can't stand her, by the way, but that's what she's saying. She just lied. She lied straight to your face.
Deportation. This feels like an insane and reckless escalation from the Trump administration arresting a judge. I will tell you, you are not alone.
President's crackdown on illegal immigration.
Today's dramatic escalation.
Now, he did it right. Illegal immigration. Now, Rachel Maddow's talking about the arrest of that judge in Wisconsin, the one who had purposely allowed a illegal immigrant to evade and avoid ICE, who was in her building and was there to arrest this guy. And she went out of her way to show the guy the door and show him how to get out. She did. It was blatantly obvious. If what they're saying is true, and she went out of her way, showed him what door to go out so that he couldn't get caught, then she's guilty. She's guilty. There's no way around that. And I think it's hilarious because I tell you what, from what I understand, from what I've heard, arrests are coming and they just started. You've arrested 2 judges now. 2 judges. I think it's great. It's a little message to the rest of them. And I think it's a great way to do it. I do. Don't you? Don't you think this is a good idea? If someone breaks the law, isn't that what the Democrats said for 4 years? No one is above the law. That's what they said. That's what they said. Unless it's your team that's doing it, then it's okay. So then it's an escalation. Yeah, it's something out of the ordinary. It's hateful. It's divisive. It's unconstitutional. We'll come up with all kinds of words to use to defend something that they were doing all along. Yeah, so I don't know. They are barking up the wrong tree. They truly are barking up the wrong tree. I don't know. Now here I'm going to play this for you too. As a matter of fact, this was in I think it was Colorado Springs, Colorado. I believe it was.
Violence, weapons seized. Yeah, over a dozen active duty military members were working as armed security or attending the club. And among those arrested were, of course, members. Crimes of violence, weapons seized. Over a dozen active duty military members were working as armed security or attending the club. And among those arrested were, of course, members of crimes of violence.
Of MS-13. Okay. They arrested these people at a club in Colorado. I think there were 80 of them. It was a big arrest. It really was. Now, I guess, according to the Democrats and their fear of this slippery slope, they want each and every one of these to have due process. Just to do these 80, it would take weeks. It would. You're here illegally, folks. Illegally. You have no rights in the United States. The Constitution doesn't apply to you. It applies to American citizens. These people should be deported immediately. No questions asked. None. I don't know why it isn't that poll we saw earlier. 56%. I'm surprised it's not 96%. I don't know who would go along with this and what kind of how you would defend that. How would you defend keeping and allowing people who are here illegal to begin with and people who breaking the law? MS 13 members, Aragua or whatever the gang members. Why would you allow that? Would you want these people living next door to you? I wouldn't. My wife saw something the other day that was very interesting. She went to the grocery store here in town, and she said when she was coming out, she saw a guy who was of Spanish descent. I'm assuming a Mexican, because his pickup truck, had a Mexican license plate on it. How's that possible? How is it possible for you to get all the way to Missouri with a Mexican license plate on your car? I mean, is he here visiting? Well, I'm at a loss, and I know I see Canadian ones, and I understand that. And sometimes you even see, I've seen European, license plates. I understand that, but I can tell you this much: if I was that guy, I'd be sure my paperwork was straight, because you get pulled over. You could get pulled over anywhere between Mexico and Missouri. Anywhere. Excuse me. Oh, goodness. I apologize. Whew. It's something in the air right now. It's like I think the trees are having sex right now, because it's everywhere. It's on everything. My car looks green every morning I wake up to go outside. And it's affecting me to no end. Oh my goodness. Whew. Anyway, moving right along. I thought, now you're about to see something that I thought was just epic, an epic troll. It's one thing, Trump, he's so good at this. He talks about Canada being our 51st state. We're going to buy Greenland, which he's serious about that. But Trump 2028, that kind of stuff. This is another troll, which I thought was just brilliant. Look at this. This is out in front of the White House. Look at this. These are mugshots of illegal aliens that have been arrested. And he's showing them. He's showing you what they were guilty of, or what they're being accused of. Murder. There's what's this one? Homicide. There's pornography, child trafficking, rape, drugs, you name it. Look at this. Yeah, there's one, rape. It just goes on and on. And this is the White House lawn. He had these made up. You look at this. This is unbelievable. What does this say here? Child sexual abuse, rape and sodomy of a child, rape of a child, rape. What is that? Sexual offenses against children, child pornography. These guys all sound very upstanding individuals, don't they? These are the kind of guys you would invite to your neighborhood barbecue. The best and the brightest that the world has to give us. No, it isn't. These people should be rounded up And I'm for shooting all of them, but I mean, I know you can't do that. But I have no time for this whatsoever. And this was brilliant. This was so smart. He's such a smart guy. He really is. Look at this. Sexual assault of a child, rape, murder. It just goes on and on. On and on. Probably one of the best trolls I've ever seen. Because it tells everyone who's against this, it tells them what you are up against. You are up against some of the worst that humanity has to offer. That's what they are. They're animals. They're animals. And you have to treat them as such. That's what you have to do. This Garcia is not a Maryland man, which I did one the other day. They played it over and over again. That was the talking point of the day. Maryland man. And he's not a Maryland man. He's not. He's a gang member. He just happens to reside in Maryland. That doesn't make him a Maryland man. In order to be a Maryland man, you have to be a American citizen. Very, very different. Yeah. Oh my goodness. My nose is. I apologize. Whew. But anyway, getting back to the Democrats, and these are the examples. These are examples of what they want to push. They want these people in the United States. They want chaos. Without chaos, they're going to have to come up with ideas. They can't do that. They want chaos. They have no platform. They have no leader. This is going to go down in history as probably one of the low points of the Democrat Party. I don't know that they'll recover. I don't think they're going to recover anytime soon. You've got a three-way battle going on right now. You've got people who want to be centrist. You've got people who want to be left, and you have people who want to even be further left. You got David Hogg running the DNC. That's not a good idea. No, it's not, because everyone hates him. Everyone hates David Hogg. He's a loser. He's nothing but an annoyance. He knows nothing about this, and he's your number 2 guy at the DNC. So there's internal battles going on right now. I'm not saying that the Republicans are all on the same page, but I'd rather be in the position of the Republicans than I would the position of the Democrats at this point, because nothing good is going to come from this. And they seem to have an uncanny ability to pick the worst, positions to take of all time. Defending gang members. That's just, it doesn't get any dumber than that. The Democratic Party is just dumb. There's no other way to look at it. They're not, and the people who do have the sense in the Democratic Party are too damn chicken to stand up and say anything. You got the Cory Bookers of the world. I mean, come on. Cory Booker. Yeah. That guy's as gay as a $3 bill. I swear. He just needs to come out and admit it. Please do. You and Don Lemon are probably an item for all I know. Who cares? I don't care. Don't act like you're a tough guy. Cory Booker's a waste of time. He really is. That 23 hours he was up on the stage at the talking to Congress, giving his speech for 23 hours. I guess he was wearing a diaper. I don't know. He's a lunatic. That's one of your leaders, Hakeem Jeffries. I mean, by the way, where's Nancy Pelosi at? Where's she at? She's still a congressman. Why isn't she speaking up? And for the love of God, why are you letting James Carville near a microphone? MSNBC loves asking this guy on. He's a lunatic. He's completely outside his mind. He was irrelevant even during the Clinton administration. And he's even dumber now. He's the one that predicted that Kamala Harris was going to win. No problem at all. He's been wrong about everything. And by the way, I saw him the other day. I saw him. They were doing a clip of him prior to the election. They did one in June, one in August, one in September, and then one right prior. It was in October, just prior to the election. That idiot was wearing the same shirt in all four of those. And it was this stupid, large, striped, colored. The collar was all wrinkled, and you had that hat that looked like a dog had chewed on it. Why are you letting this guy near a microphone? He belongs in an insane asylum. He's old as dirt. He looks like a scarecrow. That's who's speaking for the Democratic Party. Democrat Party. I'm sorry. That's who's speaking for him. They have no chance. This is going to be their demise. I really believe it. I believe this is going to. I think this is, and that's bad too. Don't get me wrong. I don't like a one-party system. I don't. You have to have a two-party system that's willing to talk to one another. You compromise. You come to the table. You give and take. And that's what makes for a good government. Because believe me, the Republicans will screw this up. They always do. Anytime a party's anytime a party, like especially now, anytime a party is the only one that's available, the only one that has any power, they will screw it up because you always oversell. That's what you do. So the Republicans better get some stuff done in the next 2 years, because I don't know what's going to happen after that. But I will say this. I'd rather be a Republican right now than I would be a Democrat. You've got Democrats jumping ship. Dick Durbin, he gave it up. And everybody said, well, it's because he's 80 years old. What? When the hell has that ever stopped anybody? These people are, at the end of the day, these people are all run by the cartels. That's what they are. That's why they're so upset about this immigration. What do I mean by that? I mean the cartels are paying these people to do their bidding. Government is littered with that. You think Dick Durbin goes to a bat for something like this immigration thing? You think he does that because his morals tell him to do that? No. It's about his bank account. My guess is Dick's got enough money in an offshore bank account somewhere. He figures he's good to go, and he doesn't want to be involved in this mess. And I've met this guy, Dick Durbin from Illinois, senator. I've met him. I met him in Rolla, Missouri. He's an idiot. I talked to him for about 10 minutes. The guy's a moron. But he's been in office for 40 years. Isn't that unbelievable? How do these people pull that shit off? How do you keep a secret from being an idiot that long? Yeah, I mean, you must have some great people working for you that can get around that idiocy deficiency you've got. I mean, the guy's a moron. But he's getting out. There are other ones getting out. They're going, you know what? I've had enough. I've made my money. I'm getting the hell out of Dodge. And as far as AOC and Bernie Sanders, don't even pay any attention to that. They're flying around the United States bitching about oligarchs, okay, and the rich and the powerful and the billionaires of the world. And they're flying on a jet that costs $15,000 an hour to fly it. Yeah, everybody does that. Yeah, that's just a normal thing for most Americans to fly around on a jet that costs $15,000 an hour. They're not doing that. AOC knows she's not going to get elected president, but she does know this. She can collect a hell of a lot of money in donations. And when her campaign falls apart, she can keep the money. Now, Bernie Sanders, he hated millionaires 20 years ago. He hated them. Said they were horrible. But then he became one. And then suddenly we hate billionaires. Yeah. We've changed we've moved up all billionaires should pay their taxes. Now, Bernie's got 2-3 homes. I mean, he's made his money. I mean, they took his legs out from underneath him in 2016 and he made him pay. And they did. And where's he at now? He's a very rich man, just like all the rest of them. So anyway, that's all I got today, folks. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you once again this week. Something else will happen. I guarantee it. So you have a good one. Peace out.